All right. Oh, good morning. So yeah, welcome back. So I thought I'd do a short video. Well, I always say that, don't I? But I thought I'd do a bit of a video because while I'm waiting for parts and new bushings and things to come, there's not a lot I can do today. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to take you round, get the car down, actually show you the car, because I'm not actually showing you what a Reliant Scimitar GTE is really. So I thought we'll bring it down, we'll have a look, and I'll show you what I'm working with. I'll tell you a little bit about it as well, from what I know, the little that I know. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was going to lower it down, but I've just realised that I can't really, because there's no wheels and suspension on it. So bear with. So the Reliant Scimitar GTE, this one's 1972. Its designation is SE5-A. There's loads of different ones. There's 5-A, B, there's 6s, there's 7s. There was later versions as well, but are all quintessentially the same thing. These were the original first Grand Tourer estate car that was produced in the UK, and it at the time of its inception, it was, well, and as it joined the market, there was no competition for this. There was no alternative to this car. Once they started, look at all that. Once they started production, you then saw the Volvo P1800 ES, that estate come out. Jensen Healey, their estate version of that, which was the last car they ever made, actually, Jensen. And then, you saw a lot of other comparers to this come out, compadres, come out as what's the word I'm looking for? Competition, I suppose. But this was, the one that broke the mould. Reliant were really good at that, finding that tiny little niche market and then exploiting it to the max. I'll have a look down this side. So with everything as Reliant's done, mostly everything, is fiberglass body shell on a steel frame. And this was designed by a company called Ogle. There's a chap called David Ogle who died before this was completed. And it started out as the Scimitar was just a two-door coupe, like a sports car, And they wanted to showcase the car at a show that escapes me in London. But it wasn't the shape of this. It was like I'll put a picture of one up now. And at the same time, Triplex, who were the automotive glass big names in the industry in Britain at the time, had just brought out a new magic super glass. I don't know what it was or what it was for, like soporific or magic glass anyway. And they wanted to showcase it. So they said, right, look. They went to Ogle and said, look, can you do us a bit on your car? And he was like, yeah, of course I can. I'll go up there and get super sketchy at the minute. And I'll go up there and show you what they did. So they added all triplex glass, new windscreen. All of this was cut out. A super wide, there was only like a strip of body left in it. Glass for the big wide sunroof for the driver and passenger. And then also all the back, there was like a T shape here. And then all of this was glass, all of that side was glass. And these, all the sides of this was glass as well. But it didn't have this swoop where this comes up. It was all continuing on, all this was glass. And it was very popular at the time at the Motor Festival. And as a result of which, Scimitar then decided, they approached Ogle and goes, look, we like what you did. Can you sort us a car? Sort us a car a little bit like that, with a hatchback at the back, And Ogle was like, yeah, of course I can. And this is what started. Originally they had the idea was to go with what the Scimitar was and just put a bigger body shell on it. It had the first original inline 6 that the original Scimitar had, and then it slowly evolved as the UK, I suppose, division of Ford started experimenting with V4 and V6 engines, because obviously the V8, which was so popular in America, wasn't really viable for the UK market, and so the UK division started to experiment, and the V6 was chosen in the end. We'll have a look in the back, because I want to show you what was in there. So here we are at the back. This is where the bumper should hang on here, number plate beneath, filler cap, latch to open the bonnet, the boot, rear windscreen wiper, incredible scenes, Jeff, and a squirter to match as well. How many cars in the early 70s had that? So here's the boot. We've got quite a few parts in here. This one wasn't fitted with a brake servo, but I've got a brake servo to put on it, which you saw in a previous video. We've got that last hubcap that we're missing. I'm not quite sure whether to keep the original hubcaps. Original air filter, which is quite nice. They're quite rare and difficult to get hold of. A new boot lock, which has obviously been borrowed from another car. What's in here? Oh, what the hell's that? Oh, there's a switch for whatever that is. Put that over there. We have some lights. I am after the back plates, though. I'm missing. Well, I've got 4 back plates, but they're extremely rotten. So, and also a radiator, which was kindly donated by a gentleman called Cliff in Oxford. Hello, Cliff. He's the chap I got the bumpers off, which are over there. I'll show you those in a second. And he gave me a load of box of other stuff as well, which I'm eternally grateful for. He's a lovely chap, and he's got a very beautiful car. Right, I'll go further in. I'll show you the interior at the minute. So I've had the windows down because there was a significant smell in there. It was like burnt nappies. The door cards, yeah, need replacing, which is unfortunate. Although the leather is quite usable. The window regulator doesn't work on this side. Door handle and the door handles work. There's also the quarter light missing for this, which I was gutted about because they're quite hard to find, but I found it in the boot, so yeah. Fantastic. The only thing it's missing is it's had the hinges broken on it, so I need to sort of get through onto that one. I'll put that delicately on my perfect paintwork. As you can see, the seats aren't original, the front seats, and they're not actually in there yet. These are the seats out of a Mazda MX-5, and they were a popular mod due to the fact that they have a bit of a headrest, you can see, for those whiplash situations. The original ones were just a backrest, no headrest, and obviously everyone was fantastic headbangers in the 70s. Oh, so I'll bring you in. I apologise for the light in here. Hang on, I'll get a light. Much better. Right, so you can see we've got the oil, temps, rev and speedo. We've got some very interesting lights here. So there's one that's green, there's one that says brake pads, there's a red one, and there's a blue one, fuel. So that is interesting. I didn't expect to see any of those. We've got heated windows, fantastic. Hazard lights, and some fantastic, low beam fog lights. The wipers and the rear wiper as well, fantastic. What else have we got in here? So we've got the spot for the radio, which I have an original radio for it, but I think I'm going to expand this a small amount and get a modern radio in there, just for the sake of charging my phone and playing whatever music I like. Voltmeter from the alternator, a clock, I mean that's the height of Western decadence really, isn't it? And then a fuel filter, and then the fans. So a big one for me on this is I desperately need the heater to work, so I need some significant fanage going on in here. Glove box, which has got what looks like the coax for the radio coming out of it. I mean, that's interesting. I did have a look in there to see if there was any information on the car. There is a Lloyd's glass line at Lloyd's call free. I bet that number's not in use anymore. If it is, let me know. Again, door card on the other side, significant droopage. Although the leather is quite savable, I think. So I'll just need another piece of card. The carpets, I think, are, I mean, pretty serviceable. They're looking pretty new. I mean, they're a bit tatty on the inserts, but the actual majority of it is not too bad. And another decadent addition, an armrest for the rear guys. I'll get the light in so you guys can see. Rear seatage. Now you can see what I was talking to about the original seatage. No headrest at all, so headbangers beware. There's a rail for the for one of the front sides. Interior lightage, which is in a sorry state of disrepair, so I'll need to replace that. I'm not too fussed about interior lightage. And then there's the space at the back. I mean, that's the inside really, that's the internals. I think I might get a new steering wheel for it. I should have took that off when I was showing you this before, but yeah, I might get a new steering wheel for it. So I haven't got any parts today. The only parts that I do have is that brake master cylinder that Cliff kindly gave to me the other well, on Sunday. So I may as well take that, make sure that the seals are okay in that, and then put that on, I suppose. That's as much as I've got today. So we'll head back outside and I'll talk about what I'm going to do today. But before I do, quickly, I forgot to show you the overdrive. So as you can see on these, it's a 4-speed box, 1, 2, 3, 4, and reverse. So obviously you'd think by that means, you'd think, well, it's they're either massive gears, or when you're on the motorway, it's going to be revving its absolute legs off. Well, you're wrong. On these, they have an overdrive. And for those of you that don't know what an overdrive is, back in the, well, 60s, 70s, etc., a fifth, more gears in a gearbox wasn't really the done thing, especially if you were going to mass produce this and make a profit for cheap. 4 gears was the standard, with an optional overdrive. And all the overdrive is a box that's bolted onto the back of the gearbox. Obviously you need a longer shaft to incorporate it. And it works off the oil from the gearbox and uses like a back pressure and magic. Basically gearbox magic, you flick the thing and then the gypsies do the magic, and then it's an extra gear. All that is an extra gear. So that will work and engage on the 3rd and the 4th gear. It's quite handy for overtaking. But yeah, that's what that is, and that's what that's for. Just so you're interested in, like, what's that switch going? Oh, so what I'm doing with this, hello, is this is a brake master cylinder. You press the brake, yeah. Piston goes in, as I've explained before, and it pushes fluid out, goes down to the brake caliper, yeah. And it puts the brake on. Problem is, the piston's stuck. So like you saw on the Jensen, it's a similar thing. All it is just an arm that pushes a piston down. Can you see in there? Piston down. And on this rod, or on this piston, there's a rubber grommet or a rubber seal. And as that pushes down, it forces fluid out the hole that's at the top of it. That's really how it works. So I'm going to try and, there is a little bit of an edge in there, so I'm going to try and sand that off and then try to jolt it out. I think I'll spray a load of gunge down there and try and jolt it out, I think. I wonder what Princess Anne's doing today. She owned loads of these, actually. She was a prolific owner. I think she had 7. The Princess Royal, she had 7 Reliant Scimitars in her lifetime. Not that she's still going. She's not popular or anything. She's still there. But yeah, she loved the cars. So after Reliant stopped making them, they sold the rights to another company called something Bridge, Wayne Bridge, something like that, and they made another iteration of the GTE. And the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, she bought the 5th one off that production line, and but ultimately they only made 77 of them, and they had to sack it because reasons. And then it went to, the rights were then sold to a chap called Graham Walker, or a chap or a garage called Graham Walker, that at the time was one of the main dealers of scimitars. Come on, good bagger. And today, Graham Walker in Chester, they are the biggest steel supplier of parts and restorer of Reliant Scimitars in the world. Just round the corner from me, I didn't know. There's another company that supplies parts, but the name eludes me. QRG or QDG or something like that, according to the Green Guards. But something like that. There are other companies available, not just Graham Walker. Right, I'm getting bloody sick of this. Now I'm going to go against my own rule here, and I'm going to turn it round and give it a good whack. Because of how long I've been doing this now, okay, yeah, that's not too bad, but don't whack it. Alright, cool. Looks quite good. Alright, now you can see. So inside the cylinder, this piston moves in and out as you press the brake. And this rubber piece here is what is the hydraulic function. That's what forces the fluid that's retained in this cylinder here, and it slides down. Obviously the spring compresses at the bottom, slides down, and this rubber part forces all of the fluid out of the hole up here. That one. Right, that's out. Now I'll change the oil seal, put that in, put that all back together, and then get it on the car. Got a new seal to put on this. Hello. So you can see I've pulled that rubber seal off, and I need to get another one on, but is it that way? Yeah, it's that way. So you want it scooping in. Like that. If you have it scooping out, it's not gonna pressure that oil down there. So these are the parts my dad hates doing. Finicky little fiddly bits. He's got no patience for it. Where I have minimal patience, but I have a little bit more than Dad does with stuff like this. Get in there. There's the screwdriver. I'll try and... Oh, guys. What a bloody mission that was. Right, so I thought I'd show you. I've just put it all back together now, and I've just got this piece of brake pipe off an old caliper I had lying around, just so I can test it. Put a little bit of fluid in there, which you can see, and now when I press this, fluid comes out the end. Oh, I'm chuffed with that. I was worried it was going to be too stiff in the piston, but perfect. Saved me a bit of money there. Cheers, Cliff. What a guy. Right. So, next I'm quite happy. Next I'm going to try and make a bracket for this, because there should be a bracket that holds this on the neck, and there should be one that holds this at the back. So before I plumb this in, I'm going to get some metal and make some brackets and bits. First, he's bloody hoofing it down outside. So yes, apologies for the noise. First thing I need to do then, because I want to make a couple of brackets for that, is I need some cardboard first. And I'll show you my method. And it's tried and tested, and it's a very ancient method. Some say the Romans used it when they did their welding, you know. So yeah, first some cardboard. I mean, here, cardboard. Oh, there's a box there. Oh. Usable. So first things first, cardboard can be moved and bent and I can cut it to shape. Reasonably easy. My plan is, first, I will make a bracket out of this cardboard, fold it into the right place, get the right notches I want cut out of it, and when I'm happy with that, I'll take this off and go and cut a piece of metal the same size and then bend it into the same form and shape that I want it. It's just an easy way of getting it right without doing it while measuring it while I'm doing it. You know. Little bit of reader up my bum. So we're in the engine compartment now. I know where that's got to sit, and now there's 4 holes there, so I just want to think how best to make a bracket off that. So I think that won't be too hard. There's 2 bolts there, and I can just have that floating. It's those 4 bolts will then come up. Right, okay. I mean, it's crude, but it works, you know, and if it works, what's that saying? If it looks stupid, but it works, it's not stupid. I'll show you quickly what I'm talking about. So there's my first bracket that I've made out of cardboard. I know where it's going to fit, I know where it's going to sit, and I know where to bend it, and I know where to cut the channel out. Happy with that? Right, let's go and do that. How do you like my homemade drying bench? So those are the brackets that I've finished now for this. The master cylinders on there, so as soon as they're dry, stick them together and mount them in the engine bay. That's pretty much done for the brakes wise, really, until I've finished all the suspension side of things and then start bleeding everything. So really, that's all I've got time for today. It's 4 o'clock now, so yeah, I'm sort of, it's the weather's miserable and it's all mucky and horrible outside, and I just can't be bothered. It's that cold trying to stay warm. I'm hovering around the heat warmer. So yeah, that is all I've got time for this week. I'll let them cool down. So at some point, not this week, I mean today, but at some point this week I do at least want to make an attempt at starting this thing. I know it turns over freely, as you saw in the previous video, so yeah, I really need to make a little bit of an explore there before I start spending money on it. Everything so far has been pretty cheap. I made an estimate before of about just over £1,000. I don't even think it's there. I think we're just under £1,000 so far, including the cost of the vehicle itself. So yeah, if you like this, please give me a like. If you didn't, give me one of those. And tell me down in the comments below. Please let me know where I'm going wrong, or if I've missed anything, or if I'm doing something a little bit too stupid. Obviously, I do stupid things, and there's a bit of a joke there. But yeah, if I'm missing something drastic, please let me know. Or if you know something I don't, let me know. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys and gals. I'll see you guys. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next one, I think, which will be trying to get this started at least, or having a look at this mechanically. So yeah, subscribe if you want to see that. See you later.